My business is your business. It's all up in my lady business with me, Mary Nisi. Hey, ho, hip hop hooray,
Hey,
ho.
you calling ho.
I'm calling myself a hoe. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on over to the All Up in My Lady Business
Yeah.
corner of the world. I am your host, Mary Nisi. Today, I've got my trusty Mel kick, Melissa Riddle,
Mel kick.
my
I'm
Mel
so
kick, on the horn with me today.
happy.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since you've come on over to podcast land.
It actually has been.
Have you been working for me too hard? Is that the problem?
We got a brand new website.
Right. Let's talk
Air
about the website.
website. Shout out to Tiny Bold.
Tiny Bold. Ooh, ooh. I wish they're not a sponsor, but they could be.
They could be.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't think I could have done it without them.
no,
They were the most perfect partners, and also everything works better with ladies. I'm just gonna.
yeah, it's true. Let's get into let's get into the Wayback Machine about the process of having to get this new website. So the website that we did have for 12 years, launched the day I gave birth to Sebastian. So
Birthed two things that day.
I birthed two things that day, a brand new website and my son. So that was January 27th, 2014. So we had the same website for 12 years. And it seemed as fresh today as it ever. I mean, it was a good website. I loved our website.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the website. But we added a lot of things in the
We did.
intervening time. And also we were on, kind of what's a word I would use to describe
Antiquated?
it? I mean, I think that it is right. It is fine for a lot of organizations, people, designers. In and of itself is fine. It's like my kitchen theory of design, which is that like kitchens are expensive because we've made it. I've said this before on the podcast, I know, like where like kitchens cost like $60,000 or something if you ever want to update your kitchen. And it's because we've tied it so much to the value of a home, and the materials keep getting more expensive and you can't do it yourself. You have to hire a contractor. And it's this whole propped up industry on like kitchen and kitchen designing and whatever. And I feel like website design is very much the same, where it's like, let's make this as opaque as possible and as expensive as possible so we can employ as many people as possible in the process.
Well, there's two sides
A
of it.
website.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because it's like, I mean, you can do a Squarespace website.
Sure.
You can have a templated website, but
Yeah.
but you're basically it has to just be like a storefront, or it has to
Yes.
be like an e-commerce site. Like to have all the things that we need, you need to do something a bit more bespoke. I mean, I guess you could run a toast and jam on it, but it just wouldn't be as like cute.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, we
wanted,
want it to be custom and cute.
but
But
but you forgot the
craft is for the people that wanna, do all the things.
Well, craft, I think, if I mean, I'm not gonna, I shouldn't be speaking so authoritatively about this, but from what I understand, so craft was in 2014 when the website was built on craft. Craft was a relatively new platform, and it was like to go up against WordPress. And
Okay.
then I just don't think that craft. I think WordPress just kept getting bigger and bigger, and craft didn't get the virtual or the venture capital money or whatever it took to start competing at that level. And so it just wasn't as good of a product as WordPress. But our big problem happened because there was someone who was mining Bitcoin on, remember we got hacked with the Trojan horse?
Of course I remember.
I mean, that to me is like,
Incredibly well.
we got, I don't even know if we ever discussed this on the podcast, but we got hacked. And how do we find out? We tried to log into the back end of the website to add a photo or something. We couldn't get in. And it was really weird. We couldn't get in. And I was like, whatever. It's probably just something wrong with the day. It's probably down and I don't care. And then Melissa kept trying to go in and fix things and she kept not being able to get into the website. Then she Googled and realized that all of our memory was being used. And I'm like, how can the memory being used on our website, we're using a fraction of it? And then we came to realize that Kraft had some failures, like they didn't do a patch or something.
Well, we had some gaps in continuity of the security of our site, and that gap got
Exploited.
filled.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
With Bitcoin. So yeah, we didn't do an update that needed to be there, and every website that didn't do that update got a Trojan horse came in, don't know how, and, basically took all the remaining memory that we weren't using for our
Yeah,
website to
yeah,
mine Bitcoin.
yeah.
And all the words that I said, I'm like, it's like if my mother came back from the dead and she was like, "Hey, Mary, what's going on? What's modern life like?" And I would say, "Well, a Trojan horse hacked my website so we could mine Bitcoin on the available space." She'd be like, "No, thank you," and she would go back to the underworld. Uh,
So yeah, so that happened, but then, we also had all of these, like, services and stuff, so basically our hand was forced to, take a good look at, what our priorities were, and the website needed to get updated, and we also needed to get it on something that we could manage ourselves, which Craft, again, what I said before, needs more people than just us to make sure that the systems are secure, and we just
and no one knew craft. That was the other thing is we couldn't find anybody else that knew craft the way that our
not a lot of crafty people,
no crafty
out
people.
there.
So
So
anyway, we went to our trusty our designer, Tiny
yes,
Bold,
yes,
who's been
Allison.
doing my graphic design needs for the last for a long time now. And
And the whole team, Shiloh, Hannah, just everybody that we have interacted with. I'm sure she has more people on her team than those 2, but, the 3 of them just, like, we had a lot of apprehension because our brand is very defined and visual and well known and a huge part of us. And so trying to kind of reinvent that, improve it, make it show more of what we're capable of doing. Also shifting, to the other delights of it all from just Toast and Jam mobile DJs. So a little bit of a rebrand bake into that as well. So a lot needed to happen. I think it turned out so wonderfully. I tell them every time I talk to them, like, I was really just unsure if we were going to be able to thread the needle of, like, being able
I
to
was
keep
too.
personality and voice and all of that, and get something that was simple and direct and gave the information to the people that the people want to see when they go to a website, and still keep all of that Toast and Jam essence.
And look cool, yeah. I mean, because that's I mean, really, it's their storefront. It's like people. It's how people find you.
Yeah.
They're going to make judgment calls about you based on your website. And if it doesn't look good on mobile, that says something about who you are. If you aren't smart enough to know if your website is good for mobile, and what the form looks like when it gets filled out, how easy it is to film. I mean, there's all these dumb things you have to worry about. But we did wind up doing it on Show It, which
Mhm.
is like a Squarespace template-y site, but they just allow more flexibility within it. And
Yeah.
so I'm really excited that we have, that it's done and it's gorgeous, and Allison and her team really pulled it out. So thank you, Tiny Bold, not a
Thank
sponsor, for
for
for helping us out with our website. But
so
that was
delightful to
it
work
was
with.
Herculean to get it done, but it
I
looks
love
great.
that our original, deadline was the anniversary party, which was November
November, yeah.
last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Here
I
we are.
mean, nothing happens like it's going to.
No, no. And it all happened the way that it needed to, because we would have a different website if we had tried to do it in November. And we needed all the time we needed to get it to where it is now, which is perfection.
So go
So
take a look at it, toastandjamdjs.com.
do it. Check out the lighting and live music and photo booths and all these things that didn't really have enough room on the old site to show how awesome they are.
It's interesting how much we changed over the years because I very much, for the longest time, was just we are DJs and that is it. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
anything else. Everything else is lame. It's stupid. And then as soon as I thought that it was cool, then it became cool enough for me to like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this now.
Yeah.
But we did have to, come up with I mean, that was a whole thing to bring on new products, et cetera. But and also to sort of changing the name of Toast and Jam a little bit.
Mhm.
Because we were just Toast and Jam DJs, and then we had to come up with a way to kind of convey, and I didn't wanna be like Toast and Jam DJs in photo booths, and, I had, yeah, so I'm really glad that we added the other delights in
Yeah.
there.
I think it sounds right. is how we feel about these things, right? We are DJs and we have other delightful things that can, make your event better, but also
Yeah.
help streamline your vendors and
Actually,
keep
it's funny because above your head is
mhm,
that
the other
green
delights.
the
Oh,
green the reason why the lights of it all happened was so that poster up there, that green poster, it's a J. Ryan, very old J. Ryan that was made in 2003, I'm gonna say 2002, 2000 is there a year on that?
please hold.
Um, and when I had originally we started the
2003.
yeah, so the first record fair that I ever helped organize, which was the first one we ever did, was when I had gone to WFMU's record fair in, New York, and that was their big fundraiser, so and we lost all of our funding for WLEW. I think Sean and I kinda went over this a little bit when on the Sean Campbell episode. Go back and listen to that if you wanna hear the whole, drawn out history of radio, and my relationship to fundraising, but, so we decided to throw this re the record fair, but we wanted to do other we were trying to figure out if we had enough record vendors to, like, be able to have that be a fundraiser, so we're like, "We're gonna have to have other things in there," and so, I was a huge fan of Herb Alpert, and he and the Tijuana Brass, and they have a record called Whipped Cream and Other Delights, and the cover is, like, a sexy lady covered in whipped cream, and so I was like, "Jay, can you draw, like, the sexy lady, but she's covered in
Cassette tapes.
cassette tapes, which were very out by that time. Anyway, we called the WLEW Record Fair and other the WLEW Record Fair and Other Delights. Then when it became Chirp Record Fair and Other Delights, it went to that, but then we stopped doing the Chirp Record Fair and Other Delights, and so at Chirp. So I was like,
Full circle.
I can just take that name
Yeah.
back.
It's coming on back.
I put it there in the first place, I can take it away. So
You
that's
know, no one's using it anymore,
yeah.
so it might as well be us, back to the source.
Yes, exactly. So, so yeah, that's where the other delights of it all came
Yeah.
from.
And again, I think probably because it is your voice, it makes sense for our voice as a company as well. That this it really is kind of encapsulates how we feel about these things. Like we are DJs. We have other delights too. But, it's not like those other delights, while fun and are good enhancements, it's like, at least at this time, DJ is still very much the focus. And then, if you want to get a huge decor company to do all of your things, like we're fine with that. You can just hire us to DJ. But if you like extra stuff and you feel like you want to just simplify and keep it all in the same umbrella, under the same umbrella, then we got you.
Yes, we
So,
do. So that's the little history and the other delights of it all.
yeah,
And we have our new website and now we're just in the swing of it. Wedding season has started.
sure has.
We are in May.
Major ones, like, in the rear view already that were, like, super high logistics kind of bananas, so now it just feels like the rest is just gravy from this point forward. But yeah, I mean, we have the most other delights, that we have ever had historically coming up this season, so it's gonna be really fun to kinda see, like, the team, like, out there. Like, it's no longer just a DJ from Toast and Jam rolling up. You might have a PBJ and a BLT and, like, all the other fun food names
Yeah.
of the staff.
I can't
Uh,
just have anything be a thing. It has to have a weird thing attached to it. Like
the but they make sense, best lighting techs and photo booth jockeys if you're curious.
what BLT
Uh,
and PBJ mean.
yeah. Um and live music. So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll also have, a trio rolling up alongside the lights and the photo booths and everything. So
Yeah, offering live music is actually I feel very excited about that.
it's so cool. And I just I love that it can just be toast and jam from nose to tail,
I
like
mean, for the
whatever you
things
need
that are cool,
for
like
the things that are cool.
like photo with lights and music. I mean, we got all that taken
For
care
sure,
of.
for sure. But yeah, it does feel like this season is kind of like the first season where I really feel like we're flying the plane and it is fully built,
Mhm.
as opposed to still trying to get our photo booth software to be reliable and, kind of having like just more trials and tribulations. Like everything feels like I'm in my mind right now, operationally, there isn't anything that I'm looking to replace.
Knock on some wood, knock on some wood. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like for the first time in a long time that we're 100 that we're things are going in a good direction,
Mhm.
100%. I mean, 100% is probably too strong of a
Yeah,
word,
yeah,
but
but
it's
good. It feels good, and I also just to kind of toot the horn of, our, DJs that we've hired in the last year, I'm, like, so stoked on them. Like, I I see more of them than I see some of the staff that's been around, for a while just by way of them needing me less.
mhm.
And they are just the freaking just sweetest people. Like it is just so refreshing in our hellscape of a world to be around people who just are genuinely kind and lovely and just so fun to talk to, fun to like I told you, Chris, maybe I think I did. He made his own, bandles,
Yes.
for the base camp, this past week and just, like, sitting around in this room of, kind of people getting to know each other, right? Like, bonding over somebody answering, like, an insane
Yeah,
name
so
tune.
for those of you who don't know what Bandle is, it is like Wordle, but it is a songs and then it's just an instrument that you get, like, a little bit of an
Drum,
instrument, like the drum part of a song, and then
yeah,
if you don't get on that one, then you make a guess, and then it adds in another
bass.
instrument, and then it adds in another instrument, and so then you're trying to guess what the song is. It's actually really fun, can be really hard, and it's how we've been starting off our staff meetings is with Bandle. Um, but I think it
It's
really
like cute, universally fun thing, and it's musical too, so anyway, we were
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's it's like I totally relate or I have empathy for people who are having problems with returning to work. I mean, and I don't have the same dog in this fight as somebody who owns like a corporate building where they're trying to make up for the fact that they spent all this money on a building and no one wants to come to it. But I think everybody's better in the room. Like if you just wanna make money and do a job, I guess working from home works. But, like, I don't know, when you're trying to actually be a part of something, like, I really do think we've kind of forgotten and gotten very far away from it for good reason, what it means to work and why we work and the value that work is supposed to be bringing to our lives.
Or that it can if you, kind of make room for the good parts. Not everybody has to come to a base camp, but damn, like when we have, a handful of DJs in here, never not it's never not a blast. It's
Mhm.
never not like, the best fun Skillshare chatting. I was laughing because we have two DJs, Joe, who's on the newer side and will be on the website next month, and Rika, who's been here for a year or so and change. And they are both the biggest gearhead nerds like on the planet. And when I got home from base camp the other night, I was like, I don't even know how to repeat it, but 30 minutes of my life tonight was like, does your XRZ 74212 match with your 40? I don't know. I can't even like emulate it properly, impersonate their level of, gear
Nerdery.
nerd. We do call Rika a cord hoarder. Cord hoarder. Say that 12
Cord
times
hoarder?
fast.
She hoards
Cord
cords?
hoarder. Oh my
How many
God, she's
hoards does a cord hoarder hoard if a cord hoarder could hoard cords?
so many cords. On another level. But anyway, even that, which I can't relate to in any way, being a non-DJ or a tech person in any way, shape, or form, but just the sheer enthusiasm that they have for it is freaking infectious, and it just like makes you, feel happy.
I'll say that, like, when I would have events when, like, something would go wrong, like a speaker's not working, or I have to, like, daisy chain a bunch of stuff together because they didn't tell me that ceremony was in a different room or whatever, and I'm, like, having to use a bunch of, like, adapters to, like, turn an XLR into an RCA into a quarter inch, and I'm, like, thinking this is gonna cause all this distortion, and basically, like, the whole ceremony is literally running on adrenaline and fear, and I am, like, just hoping that the feedback doesn't happen, and it always works. Like, I've never but it's like but when you are MacGyvering together all of these, you know, things to
You
make
are
it work,
yeah,
it makes you feel like a
that,
pretty like you're
yeah.
basically, a roadie
Totally,
in the
like, just
'70s.
imagine then. But anyway, it was very uplifting, and I want more of it, and it does the days that this place is full of life and bodies and, music are days that, don't. I think I was here for 12 hours on Tuesday from 9 to 9, and I never once looked at the clock. Like, it was just, all of the magic things happening, everything getting done, and everybody having a great time. It just doesn't even feel like work.
Isn't
So,
that the dream?
it's kind of the dream. I want it every day, and I can't get greedy. I can't
But the
I know
fact that
every
you even have them, I think is actually like, I say as your boss, I'm like I'm like, "You should just be happy that you're having those." But it's true though, at least we get to have days like that, you
Yeah,
know? It makes the shitty days even more palatable though, and you know that there's, like, better days on the way.
completely. And yeah, when it feels, so right, like, the everybody feels like right. And then just bringing their unique selves to the party and like you just get to enjoy them for who they are. It's super cool. It's super cool. I love it. I love just how things feel right now. It's pretty special. So I want to keep it going, keep adding to the team, keep bringing on people who genuinely love to see other people be happy through music, I think is really, the key. And just by seeing these kids like and how happy they are sharing music with each other, I just know that that's what they're bringing, to their events, and
Well, and
it's
it's one of
just
these things, like, I mean, I do think that we're about to have a massive recession. Like,
mhm.
I really think that, I mean, I don't understand how the stock market can just keep going up every single day, like record highs, and I've
'Cause
got,
it's a
like,
illusion.
I don't get it. Like, I mean, because I haven't spent an extra dollar that I am being as parsimonious as I've ever been, and I have a lot of friends that are getting laid off, and, it just feels very 2080,
Mhm.
like I'm having
Yeah.
these, like, I mean, people will always continue to get married, I hope. I mean, it seems like that's, even though, like, statistically, I always see these statistics, they're like, no one's getting married, and I'm like, well, maybe there's less, but people
I
are still.
definitely see a trend toward smaller and smaller,
Tell me.
weddings. Just, like, I think more intimate, more that sort of dinner party vibe, more just the closest, and I do think that some of that's a function of just the contraction of everyone's circles during COVID, like, the people that maybe were dating during COVID, whatever, just like the timing of like the length of people have been dating to when they decide to get married. Like we're kind of in that
Oh, yeah, but
in
we had a
2000, like,
we had a
right? Like,
well, we had a huge dip in 2003, and I
because
think it's because
yeah,
the people that no one met, there are a bunch of people
yeah,
that didn't meet each
exactly.
other in 2020 and
Yeah,
2021 that would have gotten married in 23,
right.
and, that didn't happen, so I think that's
Yeah.
one part of the reason why 23 was a
So
relatively
that's
bad
what I
year.
feel like 2026, 2027 of it all is really just an emphasis on quality over quantity and people really like leaning into their vendors. Anybody that they're inviting to this, either from a vendor or guest standpoint, is somebody that they really have to care about. And at least that's, what I'm getting from couples when I, talk to them about our process and our DJs and stuff. And I think that's, part of the reason that, obviously we still continue to do hundreds of events a year is just that, kind of we love that intimacy too. We don't want this to be transactional. We really are invested. Um, but yeah, that's one trend that I noticed. And newer venues kind of cropping up that are focused on like Lytle House is one that springs to mind, which is just, maybe 70, 80 kind of max venue, where it is more of a dinner party or
Mhm.
select or, some of these other spaces that are just, they're not big open rooms. They're more about, the experience, the food, you
Mhm.
know, carried in restaurants. I'm seeing a big, just in what's coming up, like many more restaurants, versus big,
Really?
you know
So, I mean, because that would tell me that, like, venues are too expensive, so basically, your people are trying to find smaller, different places that can still hold the number, but not actually be the cost that. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, because the wedding industry is just like everything else. Everything else has gotten, more expensive
Mhm.
I mean, I was grocery shopping today, and I couldn't believe, I
Uh,
mean, it
I
was
never
like, I've never really, I wonder if it was like this. I don't remember inflation ever being this bad. I did, what was I looking at? And I was like, it was $20, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever spent $20 on anything in the grocery store, and it
mm,
was, well, no, it was a $11 box of cereal.
sure, yeah.
$11 for a box of cereal, and I'm like, "Oh my god,
Yes.
we're a banana republic."
Yes. Evelyn is obsessed with the, nut thins, the
Uh-huh.
cheddar nut thins by Blue Diamond.
Sure, I love 'em.
like $6 a box, but it's truly like 2
Yeah.
single serving packages inside something that's in a box form, and I'm always just like, "Yeah, no." Like, it's just no at this point, like, the because you could eat the whole box at once at
I
$6.
have. I have eaten the box all in one sitting. And because they're like, gluten-free nut crisps that are
Yes.
basically like Eucharist hosts from church, uh,
It's
which,
just that good cheese dust, you know?
uh yeah, no, I've eaten them all in one sitting, and it's actually
Mhm.
not even that bad calorically. I think the
No,
whole
I mean,
the whole
there's not a
box is like 400 calories or
it
something.
is crunchy, salty air. My other favorite is, yeah, Pirate's Booty. The bag of party-sized bag of Pirate's Booty is like 8.50, and that's, something that my, again, kid really enjoys, and it's just one of the things that's like, "Nope, our booty days are behind us unless,
In more ways than
things
one.
change." Yes, because I can't justify it,
Yeah.
it's like, I'll spend $8 on organic strawberries if that's, what it comes to, but not on the Pirate's Booty. Sorry, Pirate's Booty not sponsoring this
No,
podcast,
no, they
at
really aren't.
least not now.
Not anymore. Not with that attitude. But if you do
So
wanna
yeah,
sponsor this podcast, I will take your money. You are a
yeah,
product I'm not against. Although let's find out that, like, Pirates Booty is owned by some,
God, who
it's
knows?
the
Who knows?
Starlink.
It's owned by Starlink. Yeah, so no, it's crazy. I mean, I had to get gas here in, the city yesterday, and yeah, $10 for the Matrix was 50 bucks, or 10 gallons for the Matrix was 50
God,
bucks,
this is
and
where I feel guilty and grateful that I have an electric car.
yes. I'm holding out now. I've found the model of car that I want that is also electric, but they haven't made it yet,
What is
so,
it?
it's a Rivian,
Oh,
but it basically looks like a Subaru and, um, like, what other car? Just like some kind of throwback boxy '80s thing,
mhm.
uh, had a baby, and it's compact and freaking adorable.
And
It's
is
like the
it
e
$80,000?
it isn't, well, I mean, they're telling me on the internet that it's less than 40,000, so that,
Well,
maybe
so
years I
right
float.
now, as we're talking, Trump is in China probably giving away the keys because, like, right now, like, the China's not allowed to sell BYDs or whatever their, like,
Mhm.
version of which apparently are, like, $10,000. Can you imagine if they dropped a $10,000 electric car into America? You
Uh, yeah.
Everyone would have one.
Everyone would have one. We could all get places. It's the R3, so look that cutie pie up. Um,
Rivian, not a sponsor.
Rivian, not a sponsor, but please, if you wanna sponsor us, maybe? I don't know who owns them. I don't wanna know. Let me live in my R3 dream, before we crush it, at least for 5 minutes. So yeah, it was a lot. I dropped a lot of money on gas, yesterday.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's
I
like
don't talk about gas prices. That's not on my bingo card. That's not something that I generally focus my attention on very much, unlike my mom, who is very much like, she will tell me the 6 places in a 5-mile radius and exactly what each one of them charges for
yeah.
gas.
I mean, and I guess that sort of brings up, like, when I was saying the return to work of it all, it's like, if you have to pay if you've got, like, a Rivian I guess not a Rivian, those 'cause there's electric, but if you've got, a Matrix that just,
2008.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man. It just
drive
seems
into
like the I don't know.
yeah. But yeah, so what we were talking earlier about, just kind of cool things about our work that we feel like is kind of distinct from maybe other people's experiences that could kind of help them understand us, and the job of trying to have a legit cool business that employs cool people, but the roadblocks that get kind of thrown up,
Mhm.
how we navigated them, uh, and sidebar about how frustrating it is when you're kind of the only one that's doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I have recently learned that a lot of people don't know this, and so I thought it might be interesting for us to talk about today.
What is it?
It is, what is the difference between having an employee that is a 1099 and having an employee that is a W-2? Why is there a
Why
difference?
s
Is the fundamental difference?
I can
And
tell you.
yeah, so enlighten our listeners as to why a business should operate as one or the other.
So W-2 is the basic way. Most people who are listening or in this country are employed as a W-2, meaning that you are an employee of that company. Like they are your employer. They are collecting your taxes, uh your your Medicare, Medicaid, FICA, and Social Security. And actually the employer is also matching that. So, like, if you get paid $90,000 a year, you're getting the employer's then paying, like, 10% on top of that. So, there's a cost on top of whatever you're getting paid by the employer. And what the employer is doing, they're matching all of that stuff so that you have more money technically going into Social Security and all those things than you are putting on your own. Uh when you are that employee, you have a lot of rights. You've got, you have minimum wages, maximum wages, overtime, all these things that kind of protect you when you are a W-2 employee. And you are working for that company because they offer a service and you provide the backbone for those things to happen. A 1099 is somebody that is technically a contractor. It's like they do something that your business doesn't do. And that is the biggest thing, that the reason why you're bringing in a contractor is because you don't do that thing. So, like, if you're an insurance company and you need to make a bunch of flyers to put on something, and you guys are just a bunch of insurance people and you don't have enough design needs to hire a full-time graphic designer, then you would bring in a graphic designer as a contractor to make that brochure for you. So that's an example of a reason to bring in a contractor. You know, if you are a giant accounting firm and they can hire outside audit companies to kind of make sure that, like, there's sort of a non-biased third party that's coming in to make sure that you're operating correctly to stay within regulation or whatever. I just went through from two very big extremes there, but there's different reasons to bring in contractors. Or if you are painting your building and you are an accounting company, you're not a painting company. The painter you're bringing is a contractor, and so it basically, that person is their own business. They have their own federal tax ID number. They take care of their own taxes. They're self-employed. They deal with all of that. They're doing their own FICA, Medicare, Medicaid themselves, technically in self-employment tax, that they pay. And it's actually financially, like, when a W-2 person gets paid, they get paid all the money. So if I am paying you $1,000 to go DJ something, then I'm giving you $1,000 as a 1099, and then it's on you to then save 30% and then pay that. But then you're also, like, keeping track of your expenses, and you're writing off your mileage and all these things that then go against that, so that you're running a little business, and you have to, like, you have to have your own workers' comp. You have to have, there's all these things you have to have that you should have when you are a contractor and when you are a 1099.
More or
Uh,
less all the same things that you're provided when you're a W-2 employee, you have to have if you are operating your own business.
yeah.
And in that case, you can be a contractor because you have all of those things in place. Everyone is still compliant. It's just like, are you compliant by yourself, or is someone doing the compliance for you and you work for them?
And over the years, and I've had friends in other businesses where they get paid as 1099, where they really don't understand that they should be keeping track of the money that they're making. And I have made it very clear when other DJs were 1099, like, you have to pay your own taxes. Like, you get paid pretty well here. And a side product of being paid well is that you have the problem of having to pay taxes. Like, that is a high class problem. So save your money. And all DJs will be like, I didn't save any money and now I owe $14,000. It's like, I paid you a lot of money. This isn't my problem. Like, this is, your problem to deal with. But I am empathetic, and I definitely have tried to help people when they've been in that situation. So one of the biggest things about independent contractors, element of control. So if you are telling people how to do things, where to do things, when to do them, how much they're going to get paid, when they're going to get paid, like, I mean, actually, when you get it paid is kind of, I mean, if it says net 30 or whatever,
Well, you
then
write your contract, right? As a contractor.
yeah, as a contractor, you make your own contract and you set your own terms. And if you're like, I need to get paid net 30 or before or whatever, the company can agree to do that or not. But that is not a judgment call. That is just, like, the facts of the relationship.
Yes.
And so control is a huge issue. So if you're telling people what to wear, um, how to do the job, anything. That is all considered control. And you can, if your work is telling you what to do and how to do it and when to do it, you should be W-2. That you should not be.
Period. End of story.
Period. End of story. Um, so as you know, I've spoken many times and referenced the audits that I was subjected to over my time here. And when I got audited, it was very confusing because I'm like, I'm doing everything the way everybody else is doing it. Like, I didn't know I was doing it wrong. Like, my accountant didn't know I was doing it wrong. My bookkeeper didn't know I was doing it wrong. My lawyer didn't know I was doing it wrong. Like, I really had no idea. And the law doesn't care, if you didn't know. They just want their money.
They hope that you didn't know
Yeah.
so they can
Um,
and
and
correct
so
you to the tune of thousands of dollars.
yes. And so when I first got audited, I basically I lost on the element of control. And but they did was they wanted me to pay the back unemployment taxes for the year I was being audited for. And then I just sort of strengthened my contracts and tried to make sure that we were, doing things. And we had to jump through some serious hoops. I mean, it was so dumb. Like, DJ assistants became co-DJs or something. We did all of this like dumb semantic shit to like make it so that it was okay that we were operating as 1099. While meanwhile everybody else is operating as 1099 without any kind of care in the world. Like everyone in the wedding industry is 1099 because it's all a bunch of artists and like people that just happen to be good at making flowers look pretty and they're not business people and they just want to like do their job and get paid and, be a part of the, economy or whatever. And so I'm going along, I get audited again, and that time I lost because, there one of the tenants, at least in Illinois, and I don't know if this is federally, but I think it is that the contractor can't do what the business does. So if you are a DJ company and your 1099s or your DJs are 1099, they have to be W-2 because you are a DJ company. You are, like that is how that works.
Yeah.
Conversely, like we started offering live music, but I'm not a live music person. And so our live musicians are 1099 because those are that I have no control over that. Like, you and the client have the conversation. Like I really have nothing to do with that. So, um, anyway, it sucks because, when I finally got audited the second time and it was on the fact that we did the thing, then I'm thinking to myself, every other DJ company is DJ that's 1099 is doing the thing. Every planner, every, photographer, everybody operates that way. And it's very frustrating because, I then have to normalize the process of becoming, a W-2. It sucks because, I would like to be able to make them 1099. And every time I talk to like an accountant or a book, whenever I'm talking to anybody about why they're 10, like if it's something like I'm changing payroll companies, let's say, or something like that, they'll be like, well, why are they 1099? Why aren't they 1099? We should pay them back to 1099. I'm like, bitch, I would love to. I would love nothing more than to make everybody 1099 because the DJs can barely even benefit from the things that the W-2 benefits give them. Like we don't like we have to like give them like paid time off. It's like for every 40 hours they have to get like 30 minutes of time that goes towards their
It's definitely
PTO.
we're always trying to round a whole square peg,
Mhm.
kind of situation because, again, things that I deal with all the time are the fact that, like, DJs give us their availability. So, like,
Yes.
how do you take PTO when you're telling me
When you're gonna
when
work.
to
Yeah.
work? You know?
Um, I mean,
It's a
it's
very
one of these
strange
it's
thing.
like I get why like big corporate douchebags are Republicans because the amount of regulation that you have to deal with and the amount of money that just disappears towards various insurance and, the people that you have to, the bookkeepers. I mean, my bookkeeper used to cost me $50 a month, and it does not cost me $50 a month anymore. Like it's just
Well,
it's a lot of money just goes to like all the things. Like you can't do any like you said earlier on. What?
kitchen
I
design.
was about to say the kitchen design because it's like, I and I also hate how everything is moved to the cloud. Like I don't own anything. Like
Right.
if QuickBooks servers go down, my fucking business disappears with it. And,
Right.
and it's one of these things where, like, with the hostilities that are going on in the world, it could be QuickBooks would be a very, very, very smart thing if somebody wanted to target and ruin America, would be to just melt the
QuickBooks is
QuickBooks
not a sponsor
servers.
of this podcast.
What'd you say?
QuickBooks is not a
No,
sponsor of
they are
this podcast.
not. They're not. But they could, I mean, I would, if they were to
I
bring
mean,
back
maybe they kind of are in a way.
if they brought back the desktop version, I would definitely be okay
There you
with,
But yeah, I
them.
find it very, like, sort of interesting, and I think probably compelling to people listening is, someone breaking down the definition, of those 2 things because it, uh, it does put us in just such a I think, great position as an employee, as a worker, and I know you very much advocate for, like, a DJ union,
I would love
and
a
things
DJ
like
union. I want an event industry union. That is what I
Sure.
want, but
Yes. An event industry union so that these things could be more universal,
and
right? That,
clear.
like, everyone would have to sort of operate, in the same fashion because, for us, from a recruiting standpoint even, like, our to say $1,000, per event, you net, a certain amount of that because it's going to pay all of these things like your, FICA and your
Mhm.
Social Security and whatever, which is great. And whenever you're 1099, you're supposed to be sort of doing those things for yourself too. But you get a check for $1,000 instead of a check for $1,000 less all of these extra things.
Mhm.
And so you have to, as a person, understand the value of what the business is doing for you, um,
Well,
as
and
opposed
you have
to
protections as a W-2 employee in theory that you don't have as a
right.
1099. Like a 1099, you can be fired at any time,
Yeah.
and there's no recourse at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's not to say that like you have a ton of rights. I mean, because almost every state is an at-will state, which means that you can be fired for any or no reason,
Mhm.
except unless you are a protected class,
Yeah.
and which is race, religion, sex, gender expression,
Age.
age, and disability.
Mhm.
And so, if you get fired for any of those reasons, or if you're pregnant, those are all reasons that you legally have room to stand on. But in
Mhm.
theory, if you get fired from a W-2 job, you don't have the same rights either. I mean, it's a little fucked up.
It's
I mean,
the separation aspect of it, but, like, even internally, you have a certain you work a certain amount of time, you get a time to eat,
yes.
like, all of these things are, like, thoroughly baked into the W-2 system that don't exist in a 1099
Whether
world.
they're being respected or not, and,
Right.
whether those employees understand their rights and, whether or not they can even I mean, I think a lot of the bad labor things that we are dealing with in this country are things that people are just doing even though they're wrong and no one's really able to, because people are working so hard and they're so broke and they're so worn down, they don't have the space to, like, go,
Yeah, make sure that that's okay, that they're
um, but yeah, but
they're
as a 1099 employee, like, I have friends who are, like, graphic designers at, like, advertising agencies, and they're contractors, and I'm like, "But the agency does that thing,"
yeah.
and it's
Why
just
are they getting busted?
and it's and because they don't wanna have to pay all of the money that for
Right.
workers' comp and FICA, Medicare, Medicaid, all of these things that are we ever gonna really get to use them anyway? Like, I don't live in a world where I'm getting Social Security. Like, I don't feel like
Yeah,
it's gonna be there when I get to the point of, being
very, very surprised. Very
eligible for it.
surprised. Yeah,
Um, but, I mean, this is all going towards I think we're heading towards a revolution where, like, people are not we're not getting anything for the money that we're paying out into these
right.
things. But for 1099s, it makes me very resentful towards these businesses that are, able to run their businesses and pay and it makes it hard for us to compete because there's other companies that are paying
Yep.
more. It seems like
Yes.
they're paying more, but they aren't. When you're a 1099, it's harder to prove income
Mm.
because, like, for instance, if you're trying to get a mortgage or a car
Yes.
thing, they're
Yes.
gonna ask you for
True.
your W-2,
Yeah.
and they don't and so if you are getting money as a 1099, first of all, it is really hard to prove income because you don't have, like, a pay stub that can show you all the money you paid and all the money that's going in and, like, how consistently you're getting paid. I mean, you can do it, but it just takes, and
It's harder to live in a structured world of W-2-ness
yeah.
to do things like buy homes and cars and, that kind of stuff that requires you to have this. Yeah.
And you're not paying into and you're not paying into the Social Security system the same way that a W-2 employee is gonna, 'cause as an independent contractor that's paying self-employment tax, you're paying whatever the percentage is that they make people who are self-employed, but, I mean, that's
Mm.
all going towards the total of your excuse me, your Social Security, and I think it's really we're a little older, so we're gonna possibly, I mean, not on the inside, but these are things that we are concerned about. I mean, we think about to a certain degree, and I truly
Yeah.
don't think Social Security is gonna be there when I get to that point, but it's in theory, it should be, and so when you're as a 1099, you're not paying in any systems, you have no protections, you have no d you have if like, during COVID, actually, one of the things that I was able to do is that because the DJs were employees by the time COVID rolled around, I was able to let them all go on unemployment,
Mhm.
and, which I was glad that we could do because they wouldn't have been able to get that otherwise if they're 1099. I mean, I think there was, like, a self-employed version of PPE, but I don't think it was very easy to get, and it wasn't very much money, it's hard to prove income,
Right.
because it's it's a way to dodge taxes, but it's also a way to not participate in the system. Now, is the system gonna still be there? Dunno. Um,
Done.
but it does
But
suck.
you gotta do the things. The other big thing that I think occurs to me and that makes me very happy that we operate this way is that where companies aren't doing the things that they're supposed to do, they could get audited at any moment, and that audit might make that company not survive. And then all of a
Mhm,
sudden, if you are somebody who's employed by one of those companies, you no longer have a job where
mhm.
because for a company that, as irritating as they are, is dotting all of the I's and crossing all of the T's. That isn't, knock on wood, going, to happen to us. So,
There's a reason why we've been around for as long as we have,
yeah.
I mean, 2017 wasn't it was 10 years ago, Jesus Christ, 9 years ago, but, we operated for 13 years as
Yeah.
1099 without a problem, and I was very happy that way, and when I went to DC in October for the 10,000 Small Businesses Jamboree or whatever, the conference I went to, I got to go to, they part of one of the things is we got to go to Capitol Hill and talk to our representatives, and, you talk to their aides, which the aides actually are the ones who actually get things done,
Uh-huh.
and, we talked about the fact that, we needed so many businesses don't have, like, classification within the government to be able to even know how we're supposed to be taxed or what the employees are supposed to be, so I actually
Mhm.
talked to them about trying to figure out if we could figure out, like, a 3rd thing that is in between 1099 and W-2, where it's, like, not entirely a contractor, like, you're not just coming in and doing you're not just like a hired gun that's coming in for one day to do something, but you're part-time, it's seasonal-ish, you make your own hours, like, there's not really a thing for that kind of employee.
Yeah,
Um
I think which makes it even more sort of tenuous and expensive for us because we're always trying to sort of scrap to get the information that we need in order to be compliant instead of it being sort of like, here's how you operate. Here it is. And
well
then we're just like, oh, is this, like having talked to numerous HR style, consultants over the years of like, explaining to people, the things that just legit don't make sense. Like the one I was talking to the other day about, if you're on site for, X number of hours, you're supposed to have a break that allows you to leave the premises. And it's like, you can't leave a wedding.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
like, what do
well,
we do?
it's
Can't
funny,
leave.
like, we're watching the X-Files, and it's like, and, it's like Mulder and Scully, they're going and they're, like, doing stakeouts, and they're flying across the country, and they're doing all these things, and I'm like,
Working 23 and a half hours a day.
yeah, and I'm like, "So, how are they able to do this job?" Like, because I feel like now it'd be like, I need to get time and a half, and I gotta sign off on it, and you gotta make sure it's approved, and, and it's like,
Lots of would not, yeah, exist, in Mulder and Scully's world. Uh,
when they
yeah.
reboot it, I'm very curious to see how that goes. So, all right, Melissa, we'll go sell this company so that Mama can get her another not sponsor, but geez, Louise. Waterloo did this like thing with Guy Fieri's Flavor Town,
Shut.
which initially made me never in a million years want to support it.
Uh-huh.
But they have a root beer flavor, and my son and my husband are both very into root beer, and I'm not into the sugar. So I'm like, wait, this will be gross, but let me try it. It tastes like a root beer, and it's water.
And it's water. Sarsaparilla.
Chicory. But
Also
it was
someone who doesn't sponsor us yet, but that I would like to have sponsor us, that I discovered, In Good Spirits. Have you heard of this store? Um, Total NA bottle shop,
oh,
in like down on like Chicago and Ashlandish.
oh,
And I'm giving them all of my money now. Like,
just
instead of buying eight $50 bags of uh, Pirate's Booty, it is going toward the incredible people at In Good Spirits.
small business, and there's no way that they're making anything at scale in that place.
Go there, taste all of their amazing things. They have their own brand of NA spirits that are like so delicious and succulent and make my mouth water just thinking about it right now.
I love a groovy mocktail.
Yeah. So put some of your Guy Fieri water in your
My fake Amaro spritz.
Yes, that's what made me go there because I got so hooked on those things when we went to Midwest DJs
The
Live.
phony Negroni?
They're like $16 for
I
4.
know. I
Like,
know.
God,
But the
they
phony
just
Negroni is so good.
it's so good. It's really good. Okay,
Mm,
I'm gonna go talk to some
all
peeps.
right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to All Up in My Lady Business with me, Mary Nisi. We'd love for you to like, review, subscribe, follow us at All Up in My Lady Business on the gram. And if you're a female identifying person and you want to dance, you can follow. I mean, everybody can follow it, but if you want to be a part of the magic at Hot Flash Dance Party, sign up for the mailing list to find out where our next party is going to be. And if you are looking for a DJ in the Chicagoland area or anywhere else, money's the same color everywhere. Fly us out. ToastandJamDJs.com has the best. And listen to my radio show. I have a radio show on Chirp Radio at chirpradio.org. That's Mondays, every Monday from 12 until 3 p.m. CST. Today's episode is produced by Shiraz Dada. Theme song composed and performed by, you guessed it, Shiraz Dada. All right, guys. Peace out.